Hi friends, this is Hannah from Handmade by Design, and today we're going to be giving a complete new look to a thrifted mantle clock. I purchased the clock for $9.49, and I also had a 20% off coupon. The clock was in beautiful shape, and the only problem that it had was the time mechanism wasn't working, and that was very easy to replace. I picked up a new one on Amazon for under $10. I think it was $9.28. I cleaned the clock very well, removed the face, and cleaned the glass. The materials that you need are a paintbrush, liquid nails, birds, 4 of them. I used weathered wood by Deco Art as a crackle finish, Dollar Tree black paint, and white chalk paint. I also used air-dried clay, and I purchased some small feet to go on the bottom of the clock. My thrift store always has a large selection of clocks that are reasonably priced. So if you want to redo a clock, any kind of clock, go to your thrift store, look around, and just find one that speaks to you. This is the mechanism that I purchased from Amazon, and the birds I purchased at Temu, Temu. The shipping was free, and it was $5.98 for 4 birds. I also bought the 4 feet at the bottom of the clock, and it was $1.69 for all 4 of the feet. The DAS clay I got on sale at Michael's. It was $3.59. I painted the entire clock in black paint, and it only took 1 coat of paint. But I was very careful. I used a brush that would go in all the crevices, and if you get any paint on the glass, don't worry about it. You can just take it off with a little razor, but I was just extra careful with the paintbrush so that I didn't get any paint on the glass. You can also tape it off. Next, I painted all of the birds in the same black paint. When you're doing a crackle finish, it's important to put the darker color underneath, lay the crackle finish on, and then apply the lighter coat. That way you have a beautiful light coat, and when the paint crackles, the dark color shows through the cracks, and it's a very attractive look. Once you have applied the crackle finish and it's dried according to the instructions, it's important to add the lighter color paint in 1 stroke if possible. If there's any areas that you've messed with a lighter paint, just take your paintbrush and dab the paint over. Because if you work a paintbrush back and forth too much over a crackle finish, you will not get the effect that you're looking for, and it will disrupt the crackle finish, and you will not get a crackle finish. I'm painting the feet the same black color, and I will tell you, it is so amazing when you add something simple like birds and feet onto a piece that you're working on. It completely changes and upgrades the look. Once the black paint is dry, I apply the feet to the bottom of the clock, and I use liquid nails. Then I stand the clock up and allow it to dry for 24 hours because I want to make sure that I have a really good adhesion with the feet onto the mantle clock. I also use the liquid nails once the clock is standing up, and I go underneath the clock and add more liquid glue just to make sure that I'm getting a really good adhesion, and I make sure that the clock is standing straight up and that the feet are all nice and straight and facing the direction that they should be facing. And then I leave the clock alone and let it dry for 24 hours. I'm going to need to do a little touch-up paint, but I absolutely love the way that this clock looks elevated with the legs on it. I apply the weathered wood crackle finish according to directions, and I'm very generous with it. I apply it to the face of the clock, to the birds, to the feet, and to the entire clock. And I then wait for the crackle finish to dry, and I add a coat of white paint. And I am so sorry to tell you, but I somehow lost the footage of where I was painting the white paint over the crackle finish. I have a video of me shaking the can of paint and opening it, but not painting it. So again, just a reminder, when you paint over a crackle finish, use a soft brush and try to go over each area only once. If there are any areas that you've missed, go back and dab the paint on to the areas that you've missed so that you will get a really beautiful crackle finish. And here I am shaking the paint, opening the paint, and getting ready to use the white paint. So I applied the paint to all the pieces, the face of the clock, the birds, the legs, the entire clock. And after the paint dried on the face of the clock, I use a black marker pen and go over the Roman numerals. I glued the birds on, and I ended up not using the air dry clay. I just glued the birds on, one facing one direction and one facing another direction on each side. I just placed them where I thought they looked pretty. And instead of using the air dry clay, I ended up using joint compound, and I went around any gaps that I saw in the legs and any gaps that were between the bird and the clock, and I just filled the gaps in with caulking, and then I allowed that to dry completely and added touch-up paint. And this worked out beautifully. I really love the way this clock is turning out. It's absolutely beautiful. I can't believe how much difference the birds and the feet and just painting the clock came out. And I'm really happy with the crackle finish. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. Here is the finished clock before I added the clock mechanism to it. And I'm just so pleased with the way that it turned out. I'm trying to get a close-up in for you so that you can see all the detail on it. And I hope I took a picture of the feet. Yes, there it is. And there I am. Oh, there I am gluing the birds on. And I just used Fix All glue from the Dollar Tree. I'm so glad I have this footage. I used Fix All from the Dollar Tree, and I placed it at the bottom of each bird and on either side of the clock, and then I placed the birds onto the clock and then let it dry and started using the caulking. Again, I'm so sorry for the footage that I lost. I so wanted to show it to you. But once I put the clock mechanism into the face of the clock, this project is finished. And I so enjoyed making this project for you. And I hope that it inspires you to make something beautiful. If you enjoyed the project and would like to see more of what I do, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And until then, I'll see you next time.